Welcome to the Folk School on Willow Creek, featuring University Distinguished Professor Tom Easern, singing and telling stories from the Salon on Willow Creek.
I need a bed for the night, boy, and my horses need hay. I've been riding that road right on a hot-dish highway. This is the field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the field, grass joined hands, no monument stands. The only heroic thing is the sky. Birds fly here without any sound, unfolding their wings across the open. No people killed or were killed on this ground, hallowed by neglect and an air so tame. People celebrate it by forgetting its name. And that's the poem by William Stafford at the Unnational Monument along the Canadian border. I sang it just now for Canada Day, tomorrow, the 1st of July. But I'm going to sing it once more, just for myself. This is a field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the field where grass joined hands, where no monument stands, and the only heroic thing is sky. Birds fly here without any sound, unfolding their wings across the open. No people killed or were killed on this ground, hallowed by neglect and an air so tame. People celebrate it by forgetting its name. At the Unnational Monument along the Canadian border, I don't know just what port of entry Stafford was passing that inspired the penning of this lyric piece. I imagine, though, Dr. K, it's Portal, North Portal. Which one do you think? Could be Wild Horse, but I think Portal, North Portal. I imagine maybe he's pulled up to the duty-free, those crazy duty-free liquor stores that are not airport-based but land-based, and he gets to thinking about it there at the marker. Well, for Canada Day, for the Confederation of Canada in 1867, the 1st of July. If ever any nation had a fine neighbor, it would be the United States to be blessed with Canada. And to be blessed in this part of the country with the finest poet ever to grace the culture of the plains, William Stafford. Like me, a Kansas boy. Now, we have good friends who are fine poets, Dr. K.
Yes, we do.
I hope none of them will be offended that I've now pronounced Stafford our greatest poet of the Great Plains.
Well, you could just say whatever you want to say.
I'll say it, and I believe it. Their time may come, but it's a jump ball. You got to jump with Stafford for the title, I'm afraid. My word, this poem is Farm on the Great Plains, which appears in the preface to Pacing Dakota, which is it just seems deeply personal to me. As does another one of his poems that I've asked Dr. K to read for us tonight because you get sick of my voice for sure. But my word, he is voicing the experiences of an awful lot of people from the prairies. And he's writing about his old hometown of Hutchinson, Kansas. I know some of you listening here are from right near Hutchinson. And the sandhills nearby. And the little Arkansas, that's not Arkansas, the little Arkansas River that runs through the town, and it's pretty domesticated now, but it wasn't necessarily when he was there. And the salt mines that underlie that town. That deep stillness, and the prairie dogs.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Prairie Town. There was a river under First and Main, the salt mines honeycombed farther down. A wealth of sun and wind ever so strong converged on that hometown long gone. At the north edge there were sandhills. I used to stare for hours at prairie dogs, which had their town, and folded their little paws to stare beyond their fence where I was. River rolling in secret, salt mines with care holding their crystals and stillness. North Prairie, what kind of trip can I make with what old friend ever to find a town so widely rich again? Pioneers for whom history was walking through dead grass, and the main things that happened were miles and the time of day. You built that town, and I've let it pass. Little folded paws judge me. I came away.
And you were reading a photographed copy from Stafford's own manuscript in his papers. You notice the typescript with the correction of an error in it.
Right, so the editorial marks are his?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, this is his own manuscript.
Very nice.
My. The poem that I sang, I set the music to it. Is it a masterpiece? No, but the tune works for it. I became kind of obsessed with that poem on reading it in The Way It Is, New and Selected Poems. That's when Grey Wolf, Grey Wolf Press, brought out the collection of Stafford's poetry in 1998.
I did not know that.
I actually own several copies of that.
They're always ahead of the game.
The reason why I had several copies is I was carrying it around with me for a while. And I'd go someplace, I'd walk into a store or somewhere, and some woman would always, this is before I knew you, some woman would always admire that book, and I'd end up giving it away. I know I gave away 3 of them. I don't have any now, so I'll have to renew my acquaintance with that word. Yeah, William Stafford. Pick up his work if you're not familiar with it. You probably are familiar with the author of our next featured ballad of the night. Anything else on the program here I'm forgetting about? Oh yeah, any news from NDSU Press this week, Dr. K?
Well, we do have some news. It seems like that's kind of early in the program to talk about it already, but we're releasing this summer a new book by Deb Marquardt. It's a collection of poetry. And she did the cover reveal today on her Facebook page.
Oh, I saw that.
So she's enjoying it, very happy to have it under our catalog again. One of the things that I really like is what happens frequently, there's new and collected poems. And she's got works from 3 other publications.
Like the Stafford work.
Right. And 2 of those collections came from New Rivers Press. And so I have worked with her before, and I'm just really glad to be seeing these poems come through my hands again, and it's very exciting. So we're happy to have Gratitude with Dogs Under Stars in process. And if you do see the cover, that picture that's on there is a woodcut by Charles Beck, who is quite a famous, now deceased, but quite a famous woodcut artist.
Well, you are stirring some memories now.
Yes, we are. And I want to mention too, today I'm working with our new graduate assistant. He's learning about marketing and publicity and how all that works. So we had a really good, about an hour-long session today, developing the marketing and publicity strategies for one of our new books. And one of my remarks was, at a larger press, we would have this done 6 months before the book comes out, but I've just never made that schedule yet. And I was kind of feeling sad about that. And he calmly reminded me, well, it's just you and me doing all this.
I'm not so sure about you.
So it was a nice reminder, but we are accomplishing a lot. So that's my news from the press.
Thank you. In 1940, Woodrow Wilson Woody Guthrie, originally from Okemah, Oklahoma, wrote, "This land is your land." And according to the Library of Congress in their write-up on the work, he wrote it in reaction to Irving Berlin's song, "God Bless America," because he thought, I suppose that song was just a little bit too smug. Guthrie had pretty hardscrabble roots. And he began to wonder, how much of this land did God make for my people? It's the kind of grapes of wrath point of view. And indeed, there were stanzas of this song that are pretty well unknown today. Let's look at one here. Oh yeah. "One bright sunny morning in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office I saw my people. As they stood hungry, I stood there wondering if God blessed America for me." It's an ambivalent song. It's usually sung in an enthusiastic way. It's sung in school programs. It's sung on the 4th of July. And that's kind of why it's on our program here. We're ramping up for the glorious 4th. I don't know if you noticed.
What a coincidence.
I didn't have first grade fireworks, but I found some leftover stuff. I set it out there yet. Don't light a match. Yeah, he originally called it God Blessed America for Me. And then the word he changed the wording somewhat. And people have been messing with the wording ever since, too. It's controversial in a couple ways. One of them is our indigenous friends, Dr. K, may say, wait a minute, this land is your land. There's a flaw in the title on that. You better check your abstract. There's a previous owner, possibly a continued owner in all this land you're talking about, Mr. Guthrie. Yes, it's not a song without controversy. There is its slighting of indigenous people of America. There are Guthrie's lefty sentiments, which are not always evident in the version of the song that you hear. Yeah, he might have a hard time getting on a commencement program today, huh? But it's a work of some folk genius. It's written in folk tradition, however, because like me, he stole melodies right and left. And he stole this melody, but he put his own stanzas to it. I'm going to, at some point here tonight, put my own stanzas to it, however. Now, I did put out an appeal, on our page, Dr. K, for people to send new stanzas. We've done this in the past, for This Land is Your Land. We don't have any new ones, but, it's still open. And if they show up in the chat line here, if you've got them, Dr. K will read them out to me, and we'll work them in here yet, right?
Not seeing any so far.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so after the first stanza, I'll be putting in a couple because we've got another anniversary to observe. The signing of the Morrill Act in 1862. That's the 2nd of July. In the middle of the Civil War, Justin Smith Morrill, Congressman Morrill from Vermont, finally prevailed on his colleagues to pass the Morrill Act, the Land Grant College Act. I believe John and Melvina are online with us tonight, and it, of course, leads to the creation of such institutions as Oklahoma by God A&M, North Dakota Agricultural College, now Oklahoma State University, North Dakota State University, Kansas State University for the people in my home state, Colorado State University, and so on. These were all founded to be universities, colleges at first, for all the people. So that college would not just be the domain of the rich and the well-born, which it may be creeping back to becoming again at the elite institutions in this country, given what the news of today. College should not be something just for the rich and the well-born, but it should be open to the sons and daughters of farmers and laborers from anywhere. Anyone with the merit to study should be allowed to study.
And the curiosity.
And any damn thing they cared to study.
Yeah.
Whether that was philosophy, history, engineering, pharmacy, shall we name off 200 majors?
Yeah.
Right. Anything is up as fair game at the land grant universities. That's why they become those things that they are. But they also partake of that character of the underdog university. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. With the Great War raging and a land divided, Congressman Morrill saw land united, higher education to all provided. This school was made for you and me. This land is your land, and this is your college, where you can learn from every branch of knowledge. Every son and daughter will soon acknowledge this school was made for you and me. Every worker's son, every farmer's daughter, from the Mountain Mountains to the big sea water, has a better life for what we have taught her. This school was made for you and me. This land is your land, and this is your college, where you can learn from every branch of knowledge. Every son and daughter will soon acknowledge the school was made for you and me. Back to Guthrie again. I've roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps in sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. came shining, and I was strolling, and the wheat fields were waving, and the dust clouds rolling, and a fog was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. And we're done with that one, unless somebody's dropped some stanzas in.
No.
Oh. All right. Well, if you're picking up the theme, it's the glorious Fourth, but an honest portrait of America. You know, patriotism's a little bit like a marriage, Dr. K.
Okay, I'm listening.
None of us is perfect.
Okay.
I'm counting on you to stick with me, even if I'm not perfect, and maybe improve me. Catherine Lee Bates said as much. You probably heard the story of Catherine Lee Bates and her trip up the railway to the Cogway up to the top of Pikes Peak. She was out doing some summer teaching in Colorado. She's from English teacher from Wellesley College. Got looking down over the Great Plains and was moved to pen a set of stanzas. And then those became the stanzas for America the Beautiful. They were set to the tune of an old Christian hymn. And some people think, and not everybody's that keen on the Star-Spangled Banner. It doesn't bother me that our national anthem is set to the tune of a traditional drinking song. Our framers who formed the Union, who won our independence and formed the Union, we're not teetotalers after all. That doesn't bother me. The difficulty of the intervals in the song is a little bit of a problem, I think, for popular singers, but that's probably why they're serving beer at Bison games anymore, Dr. K, so people can make the high notes. Many have suggested that America the Beautiful would make a better national anthem. I don't think so. Now, again, current events, I'm not talking current events, but in general, at the time of its writing, America the Beautiful, and when it was set to music for the first time, America the Beautiful was not regarded as an anthem, it was regarded as a hymn, the national hymn. And how did it come to be then something that you could almost call a folk song? A song that everybody can join in on. If you're having a group sing along at some Kiwanis meeting or something, everybody join in. Well, they'll at least get the first stanza for you. And, many people may know multiple stanzas. How did it become, in effect, a word-of-mouth song, something that's passed on? It actually has a sort of folk transition. There was this guy named Peter W. Dykeman, who at the close of the Great War, 1917, 1918, began to think, we need to revive the American spirit a little bit. It's getting a little rough, particularly after the flu epidemic gave us a case of piling on there. And he thought, well, what we need is more singing. Now, America was more of a singing country in the early 20th century, certainly, than it is in the early 21st century. And he got hold of this hymn by Catherine Lee Bates, which had been set to the tune of the older Christian hymn, Materna. And he made it kind of the keynote of national tours he made around the country to get people together into choruses and sing. Now here's the thing. This guy Dykeman, he had no formal training in music whatsoever. He just decided he'd get up and lead people in singing, and he did it across the country. On the 2nd of August of according to the Grand Forks Herald of the 2nd of August 1917, Mr. Dykeman presented a new patriotic anthem at the Sing in Grand Forks. Professor Dykema always includes this patriotic song in his community sings, and he asserts that it is met with instant favor throughout the East wherever he has presented it. The poem follows. Well, I'm not going to read it off here. I got my own score. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, crowned by good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet, confirm my soul in self-control, like liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than thought their country love, mercy more than life. America, make God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream, let's see beyond the years, mine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human deed. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Have any guests with us this evening, Dr. King?
We do. There's a couple names in here that I haven't seen in a long time.
Well, let's hear
Rick Stern.
Rick Stern. Rick's probably been out riding this.
I don't know. And Kathy Niels. But she's checking in from Greenwood, Indiana.
I don't know why.
Maybe that's her grandkids live.
Maybe
Yeah.
she can tell us.
Yeah, yeah. Melvina and John were saying happy red, white, and blue to everybody, and Ben Kabishta saying farewell to June.
I don't want to hear that, Ben.
Von Rothenberger says it was 111 heat index at the set of Sod and Stubble.
Bon, we don't want to hear this heat index. Just give us the temperature.
It's so hard being a star.
Yeah, it probably is a little hard. A lot of extra work for the makeup people, huh? Shooting on a day like that. Western Kansas.
Back just briefly to Bill Stafford. Nancy Kelley writes she likes your singing Uncle Bill's songs.
Uncle Bill?
Is there a relation there, or is that a...
I do not know.
Him?
If there is one, we want to hear about it, Nancy. Yeah. He's about the right age to be an uncle of mine. Stafford would have been. A week ago, we were getting ready to head down to Laird, North Dakota.
And we did it.
For the 125th, the Quasquicentennial of Laird, North Dakota, population 82, I believe. I don't know how many in town, but there are more than that. And it's fortunate that the Veterans Hall had been fairly recently rehabilitated. A campaign that was led by the then mayor of Laird, who said, I'm just going to give up my salary. How much were they paying him? Not much, but I'm going to give up my salary until this place is fixed up. And they needed an indoor facility because it rained 4.5 inches while we were there.
Isn't that amazing?
4.5 inches.
Well, we knew it was pouring.
Yeah, but they had the parade, by God, and otherwise moved things inside and had the best barbecue brisket sandwich I've had in many years, I'm sure.
Oh, that's because we got to see him pluck it right out of the smoke.
Oh man, what's their Burgenmeisters from Forbes? When they set up to sell barbecue, you'd be there. Yeah, so we've been to 125th. We're going to beat that this coming week, though. Oh. These are going off like firecrackers, pardon the expression, around the Northern Plains right now. So many towns celebrating, not so much centennials, we're kind of over centennials now, but 125ths. Soon there will be a wave of 150ths. But believe it or not, there's a town celebrating its 175th anniversary, the town of Walhalla, in the northeast corner up on the Pembina Gorge. And wonderful town, Walhalla. Why don't you say we run up there yet?
Well, okay, we'll gas up the car.
Yeah, we'll head up on Monday. We'll kind of get in on the backside of the 175th celebration, but we'll get there in time for the. I don't think it's a reinterment. I think they're just putting a new grave marker up for Billy Buttons. You've heard of Billy Buttons, right?
Our four-legged friend?
Yes. Billy Buttons was the favorite horse of a famous revivalist preacher up in those parts in the late 19th century, and they buried his horse with him. Or beside him, probably not the same coffin. We'll inquire more closely about that. But Billy Buttons is an honored presence in the municipal cemetery in Walhalla. They're doing it upright there. Laird did it upright. Unfortunately, it rained on their parade, but nobody was cranky about it.
No, they weren't.
There's some pretty sharp dancing going on in the Veterans Hall there. When the Dakota Rangers got away from the country music, which they don't know how to play. They can't get the backbeat. Okay, excuse me. Man, when they sailed into the polkas and the waltzes, it got going. So let's head up to Walhalla, and we'll maybe get in on some of the tours. And I think they're going to open, the State Historical Society is going to have the restoration completed enough, at least, to open the Kitson Cabin up by Walhalla. And so we'll be among the first to experience that.
We'll get back fairly late, but then I'm up pretty early the next morning, 4th of July, to go out to Bonanzaville and volunteer at the Hunter Times with.
That's right here in West Fargo, we should say.
Right here, yeah. It's just up the road. But we'll have the the 100 Times open, the printing machine's running, and so everybody hiking in for Bonanzaville will be one of the buildings that people can visit that day.
Where we aren't tonight is Wishick, and let's see, at 8 o'clock, it looks like the Empter family started playing at 8 o'clock tonight. There's another band called Tripwire playing tonight. The big music night for Wishick's 125th celebration. Wishick is just up the road from Larry on the same railroad line, so they're celebrating the 125th at the same time. All kinds of stuff going on in Wishick tomorrow. In the evening, you'll like this, the Midnight Rodeo Band, they're starting out with country music at 7. At 8 o'clock, the Looney Lutheran comedy show. Now, the words Looney and Lutheran, okay. The Looney Lutheran comedy show will take the center stage at the Civic Center, which they have done some wonderful rehabilitation of, that classic the WPA hall there. The Dakota Rangers, they're getting around. They'll be taking the stage at 8 p.m. At another stage in the Civic Center. And at 10:30, Hairball.
Hairball?
You remember Hairball? You don't want to talk about that.
I don't know what that is. Hairball?
Hairball. Yeah, the old folks will be going home by then.
Hairball.
Now, okay, so there are a whole lot of centennials, more quasquicentennials going on and that sort of thing every year this time. And sometimes they get rained out. Usually they get heated out. The county fair circuit is starting up here this coming week. For instance, Dickey County Fair will be going on. And it will see the return of mutton busting this year, the most popular event of the fair, which took some time off to take it easy on the lambs, I suppose. But mutton busting is coming back, along with, I presume that's not in lieu of, but in addition to the annual pig races. You've attended those. Don't pretend that you don't remember.
Well, when we're up north, we can say hello to our northern neighbors because of Betsy Jameson is saying Happy Canada Weekend.
Happy Canada Weekend.
Yeah.
Glorious Canada Day to you, Betsy.
You know, another big celebration is going on right now. It's our granddaughter's birthday.
Really?
It's her last birthday as a yet-to-be mom. In a month, she'll have her first baby. So.
And then her birthday doesn't matter anymore, right?
Then I was even thinking about for her birthday this year, what can we get for the baby? That's not right.
She's out to dinner.
Yeah.
And celebrating that this evening. Last year, this time, she was singing along with America the Beautiful here.
That's right.
Our plans for the Glorious Fourth are fairly vague, huh? We're not going to do much.
Well, I'm going to work in the morning at the 100 Times.
Oh, you're out the 100 Times. That's right.
And then we're going to have a hot dog roasting, right?
Okay, so folks, assist Dr. Kelley. Well, it looks like it's just us at home on the 4th, other than firing off a few fireworks. What do you want to eat? The deep freeze is yours, and it's well stocked. And she said, have you got any more of those John and Wayne's hot dogs? And I said, well, yes, I've got a good sized pack of them. If that's what you want, we're going with John and Wayne's hot dogs. And some potato salad. I'll get you some spuds. And I believe a native plum Juneberry cobbler.
The cobbler is this Sunday. We have
Yes, for our dinner guests on Sunday. What are we having for?
We're having a plum cobbler when our friends.
We'll probably have leftover.
But don't tell them yet.
We'll probably have leftover cobbler for the 4th then. Yeah. This will be great. What I said was, okay, you've chosen the menu. There's only one thing that I'm going to insist on. There has to be homemade ice cream on the menu. Oh, beautiful for heavy cream, by separator drawn, for sugar pure, from Cuban cane, before the lines were drawn. The oaken bucket, ice and salt, our aching arms will pay the price of celebration sweet on Independence Day. America, on this John Adams Day, the fireworks scream for sweetened cream. Homemade ice cream makes the day. This is a field where the battle did not happen, where the unknown soldier did not die. This is the land, grass joined hand, no monument stand. The only thing heroic is the sky. Oh, beautiful for heavy cream, by separator drawn, for sugar pure from Cuban cane, before the lines were drawn. America, America, on this John Adams Day, homemade ice cream makes the day. This land is your land, this land is my land, from the muddy Missouri to the sandy Rio Grande, from old Walhalla to Brownsville on the sea. Ice cream is made for you and me. We're sold, I'm assured, a discouraging word, and skies are not cloudy, are not cloudy, are not cloudy all the day. No, the skies are not cloudy all day. Dr. Kelley.
We now conclude today's edition of the Folk School on Willow Creek. We invite you to join us again next Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time for more songs and stories.